Hello and welcome to the Sunday Preview Rundown. Flying solo this week as Mitchell is out busy. And this week we've got a whole load of releases for Votann's the big one, but that's not all. Let's start with our dwarfy friends though. So this is the release of the Leagues of Votann Codex. As always, you've got your regular and collector's edition. I like them both, even though Votann's not a faction I play. 5 detachments, which feels pretty good for a limited new army like that. We'll see with their new army rule, prioritized efficiency, which is about yield points. So it's more about like gathering resources than it was about the judgment tokens of the old codex. We'll see if that works out or not. I have not seen any leaks for this one yet. And now on to the miniatures. First up is Bury Agnir Sin, who killed a Tyranid and now wears it as a cloak. We talked about all these with the big Summer Warhammer preview reveal, where they were revealed. New hero character, named hero character, obviously, returns from the dead on a 2-up once per game and is lone op. 5 S12 or 10 strength 6 attacks in combat. Good lord, this guy's going to be a nightmare to take care of. My personal favorite from this release, the Arcanist Evaluator, who will make a great mini for a Necromunda, team of any sort. I like him without his helmet more than with his helmet, which is very odd for me, because personally, I tend to prefer dwarves with their helmets. Obviously, he's got his big, huge gun. And then we've got the Memnir Strategist, or as people are calling him, the Memnir Strategist, because he's doing the trade meme pose. Or maybe the Mr. Burns, as you might prefer to call him. He can join the new Ironkin Steeljacks, which we'll talk about in a second. Allowing them to use Overwatch and Heroic Interventions for free. Good lord, that sounds terrifying. The Chthonian Earthshakers. So this is our first, maybe not our first plastic miniatures for mole launchers. So these are underground artilleries. These do feature in Necromunda as well, but obviously those are man-portable. These are not. You could probably do some converting. I think these little bits here with the actual drill explosives are going to see some great use for conversion there. But this is kind of the first artillery that we've seen for these Votann. It does mention that the crews still have plasma weapons, so they might be kind of difficult to take out. And then probably the most contentious of this release is the Ironkin Steeljacks. It's like, okay, hi, I'm Dwarf Baby Legs, and this is my partner, Dwarf Regular Legs. Maybe it's just next to all of the dwarves. They seem really tall, which is odd. I don't know, their proportions just seem weird, which is weird because they're just normal, like, large human proportions. The fact they have toes is what throws me, personally. These can be built as either holding big old guns or with pistol and melee weapon. 2-up save and precision when attacking enemies entrenched on an objective. I'd rather have, like, reroll wounds on objective, but hey, take what you can get, right? Melee version, of course. You can also give him a concussion fist, which is kind of like a power fist, but, concussion. The Capricus, kind of next to the Sagittarius, is their alternate transport option, small transport option, not the big transport, because this can be built as either the Defender or the Carrier. The Defender has a big magna rail cannon or rotary cannon. Obviously, I don't know the new rules, but generally you would always take the magna rail cannon previously. Whereas the Carrier, as the name suggests, can carry 5 Jaegers. I don't know. Well, okay, Harrington Jaegers were pretty good last book. I don't know if they're good in this book. So if it's the Jaegers only, that's a little odd. And a new combat patrol. So, as can sometimes be guessed, the new combat patrol does not have any of these new models. And it's an Einherjar champion, 5 Hearthguard, 3 Thunderkin, and 10 Hearthkin warriors. Very run-of-the-mill, but all of this is very useful, especially if you're getting into Leagues of Votann for the first time, which we must remember, some people didn't buy that original army box. Some people are going to be getting into the faction for the first time. And if you are, this is probably a fantastic combat patrol to pick up. Everything in here is usable and kind of core to the faction. So for that one, it gets points, in my opinion. Even if it does seem a little boring with no big vehicles, but as we've talked about, we're actually okay with that. And of course, the requisite dice and data cards. Dice are nice and readable. Data cards are data cards. I don't get them because they get, made useless too quickly. There could be day one patch for this that makes these not usable. Who the heck knows? Now, done with Leagues of Votann, and on to Leagues of Vulcan. It's Vulcan Histon in plastic. So he's been available as a fine cast miniature for quite a long time. It's not a great miniature, and it's fine cast, which means it sucks. Obviously, this is the chapter master of the Salamanders. It's not Primarch Vulcan, who is different than this Vulcan. I think maybe that's a title. I don't know. But he does have Vulcan Spear. So it says, it doesn't give us any of his rules, technically, but it does say he can go with Assault Intercessors, Company Heroes, Infernus, which makes sense, and Tactical. None of those are great in current Space Marines. I mean, Assault Intercessors aren't bad, but generally there's other things that hit harder in melee if you want them. Infernus squads are just so keyed against hordes, and tactical squads are not. People don't take tactical squads. So, I don't know, he might kind of be DOA because of his choices. It's weird that he can't go in more, but, you know, he should be able to go in Eradicator's squad. That's Salamanders to me, giant meltaguns, but what do I know? Speaking of Salamanders, Combat Patrol Salamanders, and in opposition to the Votann one above, I do not like this one. It's not bad except for the Mario Kart ATV that it's got in the middle. So this is Adrix Agatone, so named character, Invader ATV, which is not good, 3 Eradicators, which are very good, 5 Assault Intercessors, which are fine, and 10 Infernus Marines, which are... The problem with Infernus Marines is 2 things. A, they're very cued towards being against hordes, as we already talked about. Like, they're great against guard, but not if your opponent's playing guard tank heavy. The other bigger problem is that because they were not historically very good, and because they came en masse in the launch box for this edition, there's so many cheaply available Infernus Marines out there that getting them in a Combat Patrol box makes the Combat Patrol box feel way less valued. As always, if you want this Combat Patrol box, and it's like $160, $170, and you want everything in here, it's going to be technically a good deal, but you can get Infernus Marines for so flippin' cheap that I really don't see the point of ever getting this box. Salamander dice set, they didn't go green, which is a choice, but I don't dislike it because it's red. It's the fiery orange with the dragon logo. So, you know, I don't dislike that. Random World Leader, Slaughterbound. He was previously in, I think, the Combat Patrol, or maybe just the Army box. But you can get him on his own, which is always nice to see, right? Like we always like when you can not have to buy huge $100, $200 boxes to get one dude. Same thing for the Death Guard Lord of Poxes. This was a miniature that when it came out, people really liked this one, even if he is doing the I studied the blade pose. Available for the first time alone, which is fantastic. This is a great looking miniature. I think I talked about how I like that this guy leans into the mechanical corruption of Nurgle over the body corruption. And then Warhammer Commemorative Series Captain Centos. Now, this guy you cannot buy online. Well, or rather, you can't buy from Games Workshop online. I'm sure the scalpers will go nuts with this one because this is a store-only miniature to commemorate more Warhammer stores. The nearest one from me is, I think, 2 hours away. I'm not going, especially not to get this guy. He's fine. He would make a great captain for your Ultramarines army. But you can only get him from a store starting August 9th. I don't know what their policy is going to be as far as how many they'll sell and when they'll sell them and if they'll do pre-orders. Some places do, some places don't. But yeah, I would count on getting there early and standing in line if you want one of these. Otherwise, you'll pay stupid prices for it. And yet, that's not all, because we also have some Bretonnia made to order. And these are old. These are from the 90s, the mid-90s. Here's the thing. These actually hold up really well. Now, they are all metal. Just keep that in mind. Which means the prices are going to be bonkers, because GW charges out the wazoo for their metal minis, old or not. Blah, blah, blah. They have reasons. It doesn't matter. They're not worth as much as they're charging for them. I'm very sorry. But if you've got money to burn, these look really good. Like, not just for metal minis, but modern metal minis. This is how they look. Like, these are fine. All of these are good. So I guess I should read off to you what they are. You've got the 6 Peasant Bowmen, the Peasant Bowman Command, 6 Men-at-Arms with Spears, 3 Men-at-Arms with Spears Command, 6 Men-at-Arms with Halberds, and if you guessed that you get 3 Men-at-Arms with Halberds Command, You guessed correctly. Yeah, they're not like perfectly modern. Obviously, all those long spears and halberds are going to be. Oh, the nice thing is unlike resin, if they bend, you just bend them back. But they will bend, and they will be chunky. Again, I actually really like these. I think they stand up very well. It is interesting to see how Bretonnia has changed over time, because you could slot these guys into any I don't know, medieval game army without missing a beat. There is almost nothing particularly fantasy about these. Obviously, like I mean, if you're a super historical nerd, then their arms and armor don't necessarily match a certain time period, and they're kind of a mishmash of different cultures. Da, 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 da. But if you're just looking for general medieval troops, that's what these are, and that's kind of answering the question of why Bretonnia didn't get updates for a long time, because GW struggled to sell expensive minis when you could just get generic looking dudes and slot them in nicely. And I think that will be kind of the case here. There's some Black Library that I don't know much about, so I won't waste your time, although that is a wonderfully grody cover. No, but there is one big important thing, which is the Necron Scarab plush. I like that, he's obviously plush, but they made him look metal by having the shiny fabric on here. This will be from Tomy. It'll probably be $30, $40. Tomy's fine. Once they, I don't remember if it was Tomy or the previous guys who had the problems with the Nurgle things going off and choking kids. But this doesn't look like anything's going to be a problem. It's adorable. I want one. And then for next week, it says we've got more Leagues of Votann stuff, so you're going to see all the stuff from the Codex, of course. And then some treats for fans of Middle-earth strategy battle game. To be determined what that means. Could mean a lot of things. I personally have no idea. And that's it for this Sunday. So I'm safe because I don't play Votann. These are all nice-looking kits. I will probably at some point get the Arcanist Evaluator here. For Necromunda, though, obviously, take a drink every time Josh or Mitchell says that, right? But otherwise, I'm pretty safe because nothing here is really my speed, although it all does look nice, except for you. You look terrible. You little Mario Kart ATV. Nobody likes you, and you were never good. But what is good is if you let me know below what you're excited about, or if I got anything wrong. Keep up with us next Sunday to talk about what's coming previously. Obviously, keeping our eyes out for those Chaos Dwarves and other things, though I'm betting that won't be for a while yet. And we will talk to you next time.